Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is a much more beautiful day as the crypto market starts to recover. And today, our topic is going to exactly be: is Ethereum actually going to flip Bitcoin and become number one? Well, find out with me today. Subscribe, drop a comment, and hit the bell for all the latest news in cryptocurrency. So, given the past couple of days, it's been a very scary motion. A lot of people have freaked out. They liquidated everything. A lot of people got liquidated. And now the turning point. A few days ago, we were speaking exactly, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday, the day before, exactly about how this is going to be the marking point for other coins to actually make a run for. Well, it's starting to happen, and not only that, it is the big thing where it's actually going to flip the script and actually run for it, and we're seeing signs of that today. As we're speaking, Bitcoin is actually up by 4% for the daily. It is only down 9% for the weekly. Ethereum is doing beautiful at 7.39% for the 24-hour period and 3.5% for the weekly. Binance is also doing much better for the 24-hour period as well, landing just shy of 5.5% for the last 24 hours and 3% down for the weekly. Another great coin that's actually doing pretty good today is number 5 Solana at 3% for the daily and 3.5% for the weekly as well. Even Cardano is actually starting to do a little bit better, but I don't expect it to work too great, as if it doesn't get to about $2 or so out of that threshold, then it's not going anywhere. So it looks like maybe potentially due to the leverage process that it's just not going to happen anytime soon that we're going to see $5. So I think it is a probably good risk reward to buy into it, but I wouldn't expect for you to necessarily get rich, not just yet. Now, if you buy into Cardano, I think right now, which is a coin which honestly I want to shy away from, but if you do, potentially, and that's coming from Vitalik, that potentially by 2022, 2023, it can jump quite a bit. It can, it can be around $20 or so. Well, we'll see, right? Let's see. XRP also doing much better for the daily at 6 and 11%. It's still down by almost 11% for the weekly. Terra Luna, and we're going to get into this a little bit deeper too. Terra Luna is doing awesome for the weekly at 62, 63% for the daily and for the weekly, and for the daily is sitting up at 35%, which is actually killing it. Terra Luna is doing very good. I know I've said this before that Terra Luna is going to be one of those coins to watch out for, especially being the fact that when Bitcoin starts climbing, and we're starting to see that as well right now. Polkadot now doing pretty bad for the week at 15%, and the daily is at 1% only. Now, AVAX, we're going to get into that too as well. There's going to be a couple of them that I really want to delve in because we spoke about them before. It's up on the daily by 370 and it is down by 15%. MATIC. MATIC is also one of those coins that's actually really taking off, giving this market fall. So for the weekly, we have it at 38, almost 39% up, and up 18% for the daily. Very good. Very good. And we've expected Polygon to actually go up, especially with all the releases that's coming up soon. So one of those gaming coins that's really going to jump as well. All right, let's get into the dirty. All right, and when we are looking at Ethereum, right? So Ethereum has had this moment too. We've been pretty worried since we actually hit that all-time high back in November. We were pretty worried about that, but it seems like after that it got rejected. Even in November the 18th, it got rejected as well. So rejected here, and then it just kind of crashed down. So we were kind of sitting there, and it looks like that dip that we had, like from yesterday, for example, and it's starting to get bought into, which is really good. I think it's going to come up. Speaking of the flip, right? So Bitcoin is continuing to fall a little bit. It did actually start to recover some, and it's just shy of 50K. It's still fighting for it, and they've recovered about $300 billion back in the market. But if something is still very shaky to really call what's going to happen next with BTC. So if it continues to drop, honestly, and Ethereum actually breaks out and runs for it, it could potentially flip Bitcoin. And I'm expecting to see that. Honestly, I would expect to see Ethereum by this time next year, honestly, about 15K. 10 or 15K. I would say that definitely Ethereum's really growing as well. So, speaking of Ethereum, you can see that we had these things, and when you go back to the lower time frame, when it gets rejected, It's always made it kind of through, and it's not just Ethereum too. It's all of the other coins that when they kept getting rejected there from the support, they drop a little bit, right? Because people really get nervous when you start to see that same pattern. People are getting nervous and they're selling. The same here, right? But it did grow for a little bit, but it still dropped, right? And we had that. So it's actually just before the market really starts to take off. This is showing signs of that as well. And so as long as that gets bought into, this is giving people hope. They'll definitely buy into it. For the weekly, you can't expect the weekly to look like too great. You still have this candle here. It's pushing out, right? Kind of canceling itself out a little bit. But it's a good sign, given the fact that that we had this big fall. All right, Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just horrible. I don't even know how to say it, right? But they are recovering, and this is what you're seeing here. The recovery for Bitcoin, giving that is what we're speaking about. It's actually what pushed them there, but just didn't quite get them over there. Today it's sitting at 49K, right? So it shows some hope. It's definitely not the bottom, but this is going to be the new line. And so we'll be waiting for that to see. But if it doesn't break out of that in the next couple of days, if we don't hit 50K and we stay on this bottom side of it, it's going to definitely fall even lower. Honestly, I would expect if anything, if it's 49, if it drops back down to 40K, I would expect it to honestly take a while to recover. If it does recover, right? So it looks like it could be it for Bitcoin, but let's be honest, Bitcoin's not going anywhere though, really. Bitcoin is just, the grandfather is just truly going to hang in for the long haul. And Bitcoin, that's one of those coins that you really just have to hold on to. All right, we haven't had that huge jump like for quite some time, like since like April, right? But we did hit an all-time high back in November, right? So the all-time high was what, 67K, almost 70 grand. But now we've lost like 30K from that. So that's something you definitely want to watch out for Bitcoin. But if it doesn't get in here in the next couple of weeks, and it stays moving sideways a little bit, I wouldn't expect for it to actually defend Ethereum off of that too much, right? All right, Luna, Terra Luna has been absolutely murdering the market, doing great, doing fantastic. Look at that beautiful candle, right? Look at that wonderful run. So it's been one of those coins that honestly, since right at the end of November, it started taking off, right? Creating that new support and just running for it. Complete bull run from that moment. We had that sideways action kind of coming off too, which keeps people kind of nervous, but it did take off, being that it's probably one of the better coins to kind of go with, especially when Bitcoin's really struggling. And that's the same time, especially when you compare the two, right? So let's compare the two really fast. When you're looking at Bitcoin compared, look at that. It's like the opposite, really running for it. I mean, that's typically not normal, given the fact that usually when Bitcoin starts going down, the rest of the coins kind of follow suit. But however, this is one of them that is just still murdering it. That kind of did its own thing. So Terra Luna is doing fantastic. Speaking of MATIC, another coin doing great. It's buying into the dip from that market crash, right? So the fourth is definitely buying into it. It's definitely making a recovery. And I would expect for it, if it continues this way, it's going to definitely set it on an all-new high. So we set one just a couple of days ago, this third? And it can potentially break that again, right? Given that, we'll definitely see in 2 or 3 days. And that is all, guys. So definitely hit the subscribe button, drop a like, drop a comment, and hit the bell for all the latest news and updates. And we'll definitely see where the market's going to go further on. And we're going to give you in upcoming videos some really good coins to really invest, especially right now, that could probably bring you 5, 10, 15x by the middle of spring next year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and I will see you next time.